Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself Priya Rathod and I am from Department of English, Maharaja Krishna Kumar Siji Bhavnagar University. As a part of our Virtual Teachers Day 2025, I will discuss about Haivadan by Girish Karnad. So let's start. This is my table of contents, and this is the front cover page of this book. And let's talk about Girish Karnad. Girish Karnad was born in 1938 and he was died in 2019. He was a prominent Indian playwright, actor, director, thinker, as well as screenwriter. He wrote mainly in Kannada but translated widely into English and other languages. In his works, he blended the main theme of myth, history, folklore, as well as modern themes. And he was also a renowned actor in films and theater. And he has worked in both art and mainstream cinema. He has served as a director of the Film and Television Institute of India, and he remains towering figure in modern Indian literature and theatre. He was remembered for intellectual depth and cultural impact. And then here are some of the works of Girish Karnad, such as Yayati, Tughlaq, Haivadan, Nagamandala, and here some of the awards which Girish Karnad was awarded with Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Sahitya Academy Award, as well as Girish Karnad was awarded with National Films Awards. And then let's talk about the play Hayavadan. Hayavadan is the play written by Girish Karnad. It was written in 1971 and it is known as one of the Karnad's the most famous plays. It is totally based on Indian folklore and influenced by Thomas Mann's novel, The Transposed Head. So Thomas Mann was inspired by Kathasarit Sagar, and in this work, Girish Karnad uses the folk theatre form Yakshagana with songs, masks, as well as storytelling. And Girish Karnad explores the theme of identity, incompleteness, as well as human desires in this play. And the central symbol of this play is Hayavadan. Hayavadan is a man with a head of horse, and it represents the main theme of incompleteness and search for boldness. And the whole story around Devadatta, Kapila, and Padmini, and that represent the main theme of love, friendship, and body-mind conflict. This play also blends some myth, folklore, as well as modern existential questions. And this play is considered as a landmark in modern Indian drama. Let's talk about the main characters in this play. The first one is Bhagavata. Bhagavata is a narrator and storyteller, and he maintains the folk theatre style. And then Devadatta is a scholar and poet, and he represents the main theme of intellect and mind. And then Kapila is the son of blacksmith, and then he represents the main theme of strength and body. And Padmini, she is a wife of Devadatta, and she is attracted to both intellect and strength, and she symbolizes desire and dilemma. And Hayavadan plays a significant role in this play, and he is a man with a horse head and symbolizes the main theme of incompleteness. And then goddesses Kali. Goddesses Kali plays a major role in this play, and she grants life back to Devadatta and Kapila, showing divine intervention with comic touch. And the child is also a major character in this play. He is the son of Devadatta and Padmini, and he represents the main idea of future generation and is a symbol of innocence. And there are other minor characters such as dolls, actors, and chorus, and that who add the main theme of myth, humor, as well as folk flavor. So let's jump on the summary of the play. The first act of the play begin with invocation to Lord Ganesha, and then the Bhagavata appears on the stage and he tells a story about Dharampura. Dharampura is the main setting of this play, and then he represents the story of two friends, Devdatta and Kapila. Devdatta is the son of Brahmin, and while Kapila is the son of blacksmith. And then Bhagavata compares their friendship with love and Kush, Krishna and Balram, and as well as Ram and Lakshman. These all are the good example of the two brothers in Indian mythology. And then Devdatta is known for his intellect, and Kapila is known for his strength. And soon the mysterious Hayavardhan enters. He is a man with a head of the horse and born of a cursed union between a princess and a horse. And on the stage, Hayavardhan is appeared as he is longing for his completeness, and he seeks guidance from the Bhagavata, and Bhagavata directs him to goddesses Kali. And meanwhile, the Bhagavata tells the story about Padmini, Devdatta, and Kapila. Here, the Devdatta sends his marriage proposal to Padmini's house through his friend Kapila. And then Padmini and Devdatta gets married. And after some time, so Devdatta gets to know about that Padmini is attracted by his friend Kapila, and jealousy brews over her closeness with Kapila. And then, in despair, on the other side, Padmini gets pregnant, and at that time, Devdatta also plans to go on the trip of Ujjain, and then during their trip, Padmini and Kapila decides to go to the temple of Rudra there, and then Devdatta refused to accompany them because of his jealousy towards Kapila and Padmini. And when Kapila and Padmini returns there, they find Devdatta. They don't find Devdatta there, and Devdatta goes to the temple of goddesses Kali, where he sacrifices his life for the Padmini. And then Kapila leaves Padmini there, and he also reaches the temple of goddesses Kali, where he also sacrifices his life for his friend Devdatta. And then Padmini also reaches the temple of goddesses Kali, where she finds the dead body of both her husband and her friend Kapila and Devdatta and Kapila. And at that time, Padmini also decides to kill herself for her husband and her friend. And then goddesses Kali appears, and she asked to place heads to their respective body, and then Padmini tries to join their heads with their bodies, but after some time goddesses Kali disappear, and then Padmini realizes her mistake, that he has not perfectly joined heads with their bodies. Now the Kapila's head is joined with Devdatta's body, and Devdatta's head is joined with Kapila's body. And now the question is there that who is the real father of who is the real husband of Padmini? And then the second act start. The second act, Bhagavata revisits the confusion caused by the exchange of heads between Devdatta and Kapila. A hermit rules that identity lies in the head, and declaring Devdatta the rightful husband of Padmini. And now Devdatta is the real husband of Padmini. And while Devadatta and Padmini rejoice in this verdict, and Kapila goes forever to forest, and he lives a life alone in the forest. And then Devadatta's after some times, Devadatta's strength becomes weak, and his relationship with Padmini also becomes deteriorates. And during a later encounter, Padmini admits that her child truly belongs to Kapila, and Padmini decides to live with Kapila in the forest. And then and she spends with she spends time with Kapila in the forest. And then when Devadatta when Devadatta finds to Devadatta goes to find them in the forest, and he discovers both are living together, and he also feels jealousy, and that drives him to duel with Kapila. And at the end, both men are killed. And then Padmini also decides to kill. Padmini also decides to become a sati because she lost both of them, her husband and her friend. And then Padmini entrusts her child. Padmini hands over her child to the Bhagavata and asks her to give her child to Devadatta's father Vidyasagar after 5 years. And then then Padmini commits a sati, and subplot reaches a resolution as Hayavadan. And Hayavadan also appears on the stage, and all the characters are appears on the stage at the end of the play. And then Padmini Padmini leaves the stage, and and then subplot reaches resolution as Hayavadana, once a half man and once half horse, is transformed into complete horse. At the end of the play, we can find Hayavadana is transformed into a complete horse. And at the end of the play, child is finally laughs with because of Hayavadan. At the end of the play, Hayavadan sings a song of such a national anthem, and then patriotic songs. And here the child symbolizes innocence and renewal. And finally, the play ends with Bhagavata's prayer to Lord Ganesha, and celebrating divine mercy and the completion of the performance. So this is the whole story about the play. And finally, let's talk about the themes of the play. The first theme is incompleteness and hybridity, and then mind versus body, and then identity and wellness, and then meta theater, post-colonial identity, and then feminine agency. Feminine agency also represents Padmini's assertiveness, challenges, and social norms. And then the absurdity. And then here are some symbols and motifs of the play. Main symbol of the play is Vadan, as well as a fortune, ladies, flowers, dolls, two-headed bird, mask. And then the motifs of the play are switching heads, as well as hybridity, dreams, animal imagery, as well as meta theater and storytelling. And then main point about this play is the representation of body versus mind. And Kapila, it means Kapila and Devdatta. Here, the Kapila is a son of blacksmith, and the Devdatta is a son of respected Brahmin family. And Kapila represents a friendship with Devdatta even after Padmini marries Devdatta, and showing acceptance. While the Devdatta represents the archetype of a traditional Indian man, unable to bear his wife's closeness with his friend Kapila. And at the end, Kapila embodies physical power as well as bodily strength, and here Devdatta symbolizes intellect, learning, as well as mental prowess. And then the main point is about the play's myth and modernism, and the play also represents the myth as well as modernism. The blending of myth and modernism, we can find it out in this play. The mythological elements as well as modernist interpretations. In the mythological elements, we can find Sanskrit folklore as well as Western influence, as well as the folk theatre conventions that implements Yakshagana features like a mask, the Bhagavata narrator, as well as doll and rituals, as well as mythic characters and rituals. Also, we can find it out in this play. And at the end, hybrid beings also we can find it out in this play, such as Harivadan. And on the other side, modernist interpretation also are included in this play, such as existential questioning. Characters grapple with identity, existence, as well as incompleteness, as well as self-aware narrative that uses meta-theatrical devices. The narrator directly engages the audience, breaking the fourth wall. And then the psychological realism, we can also find it out in this play. And then the cultural commentary and post-colonial identity. The play critiques the notion of a unified national identity that emphasizes pluralism over singular myths. And then finally conclusion. To conclude, we can say that Hayavadana tells us that being whole or perfect is almost impossible. Each character, Devadatta, Kapila, and Padmini, represents a part of what makes a person complete, and mind, body, or desire. Yet none of them manage to come together as one. Even Hayavadan becomes a complete horse, not a human. The play blends traditional Indian myths with modern ideas about what we are and what we want, who we are. It makes us think about how our thoughts, bodies, and desire often pull us in different directions, and how real completeness may be more of a journey than a destination. In the end, Hayavadana stay with us as the story about identity, longing, and humanity's beautiful imperfection. And these are the references. And thank you. Hope you like this video.